What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Falcons Today. Here's what we got on tap for everyone watching. Atlanta signed a wide receiver. We're going to break down that move. And speaking of wide receivers, I've seen a lot of buzz out there from Falcons fans wondering, could we land Odell Beckham Jr.? I figured we'd break that down on the show today. Plus, we got an interesting draft target from the Peach State at the end of the show. Now, before we start diving into wide receivers, we are trying to grow this channel, and a great way to do that is with help from everyone watching. So go ahead and share this video on social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it may be. But if you do share it to Twitter, click the share button, select the Twitter icon, you know the rest. Tag me in the tweet at Matthew Peterson, and I'm going to show you guys some love with a shout out on a future show. So hit me up on Twitter at Matthew Peterson. Share today's video to help us grow the channel. So let's get into the latest Falcons news. Atlanta signed wide receiver Mack Hollins. Shout out to producer Rolly. He did a short on that last night, but I thought we'd go in depth today. So Aaron Wilson tweeted out the contract details. 1 year, $2.5 million deal. Pretty low-level signing right there. Now, Mack Hollins last year really broke out for the Raiders. 690 yards and 4 touchdowns. Look at that compared to the rest of his career combined, right? He had one more reception than every game he played in from 2017 to 2021, all 65 games. He really thrived last year with a lot of injuries coming to Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller. Now, the wide receiver depth chart in Atlanta, it's not good. It's actually bad, right? I think Drake London's a great wide receiver, up-and-coming one. Hollins at 2, I think we can get by, but it's not an ideal 2. And then we got people no one's ever heard of after that, right? Frank Darby, Henry, Josh Ali, UDFA from last season. Like, it is not a very deep wide receiver room. In fact, I was even kind of getting curious about it. Look at the career stats for what I would say are the Falcons' currently number 1, 2, and 3 receivers. Mack Hollins is the most tenured receiver on this roster, and his career yards are 1,440. That's not good, right? Drake London, definitely a rising star in this league, but there is no veteran leadership or no veteran presence, rather, for whoever the young quarterback is next season. So, with that being said, the Falcons have to hit on their rookie wide receiver pick. I said in yesterday's video, you can't overkill at edge rusher. I stand by that. So if Atlanta goes edge in round 1, round 2 should probably be wide receiver. And whoever that guy is, if the Falcons offense wants to be successful next year and throwing the football, they can't afford to have a rookie wide receiver come into Flowery Branch and be a bit slow, take a couple of weeks, right? Or even rather take a couple months and have his rookie year be almost a redshirt season. That's not something the Falcons offense can afford if they don't add some veteran players to this receiver room. Now, next up on the show, I want to talk about Odell Beckham Jr. I saw this great edit out there on Twitter. I'm sorry, I forgot where I saw it from. But it did kind of get me wondering. I'm not the only one, too, that said, could OBJ wind up in Atlanta? So, I want to hear from everyone watching right now. Should the Falcons sign OBJ? Type OBJ for yes, or type NOBJ for no. I kind of want to get the pulse of everyone watching today, so let me know in the comments section below. It's the pinned comment, so it's super easy to find. OBJ over the last 4 seasons, well, we know he didn't play at all last year, and we know before that things didn't really live up to the hype in Cleveland, but there is that New York Giant OBJ deep down somewhere inside of him, I think, right? Like the NFL Rookie Offensive Player of the Year, right? The guy who put up 1,000-yard seasons and 10-plus touchdowns multiple straight years. Now, the Falcons have not really been rumored as an OBJ destination, but I got 2 words for everyone watching right now that wants to know if there's any hope of Atlanta landing Odell Beckham Jr. Money talks, and that's something the Falcons do have. Look at the available cap space right now. Top 5 teams as it currently stands according to Spotrac. The Bears and Packers are 1 and 2. I think Chicago, after getting DJ Moore, feels better about that room. If the Packers move on from Aaron Rodgers, I don't really see why OBJ would want to go to Green Bay. Carolina, they're going to be a disaster on offense. And there's Atlanta at number 4. Now, other teams could move money. Other teams could swoop in. But if Odell Beckham Jr. wants to get back to the Southeast from Louisiana, and we know that Atlanta is a hub for the Southeast, well, maybe he could take a swing with the Falcons here. So don't necessarily say it's dead in the water. Is it a long shot? Maybe. But you know what? The Falcons were in on Deshaun Watson last season. So to me, that says they are willing to be aggressive and get some big-name, expensive star players and not stand on the sidelines. Now, I want to talk about the draft to wrap up today's show, as one of Georgia's own, Nolan Smith, wants to be a Falcon. His words, not mine, I think. Well, before we look at it, we've got a sub battle, speaking of the NFC South right now, with our Saints Now channel here at Chat Sports. They've got, unfortunately, a good lead on us right now, about 2,000 subs. But we can start chipping away at it, baby. So help me subscribe, or help me catch up to the Saints channel when you subscribe. I've already subscribed. I wish I could do it more times. So hit that sub button if you haven't already. Now, let's look at Nolan Smith. So the Georgia Bulldog linebacker commented on his draft rumors during his pro day when he was speaking to the press, speaking to the media, and he impressed mightily at the NFL draft and combine, okay? So could Atlanta be looking to keep Nolan Smith home, right? Could they be interested in keeping him in the Peach State, a Savannah native? Yeah, I think this could be something Atlanta finds appealing to them. Now, I want to go right to the horse's mouth and look at the quote from Nolan Smith on the draft rumors. I'm a hometown kid, and it just means a lot to me. It just seems like they see a future in me and that they really want to keep me home. If I've got any Georgia fans watching right now and you would like to see a collision course of your Saturday team meeting your Sunday team, I mean, this is football porn to you right now. Now, Smith might not be a perfect fit for Atlanta, right? Unfortunately, he's coming off a pec injury that cut his 2022 season short. He's got great athleticism that allows him to be maybe an edge rusher or maybe be an off-ball linebacker. That will be up to NFL coaches to decide where he best fits in. But if it is off-ball linebacker, Mykal Walker, Troy Anderson, I don't know if that's necessarily a big need for the Falcons right now. But Nolan Smith, he was one of the best players on this defense last year until, unfortunately, that injury. 3 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 1 pass breakup. I mean, if Nolan Smith ends up in Atlanta, it would be hard to not be excited about it. But I wonder if there are some better draft targets out there. But be the GM for me. Sit in Terry Fontenot's seat and let me know. Should the Falcons draft Nolan Smith? Type D for draft or type P for pass. Weigh in down below in the comment section. Who's my draft target for Atlanta? It's Tyree Wilson. The guy has just, we love to say great athleticism, right? That's one of like Mel Kiper, Todd McShay's favorite sort of cliches. But it really does apply to Tyree Wilson. It's not fair for his size and speed and bend for offensive tackles. Usually the big guys, they're a bit slower moving around the edge. Now, he's got that Bosa speed, okay? But what about that Khalil Mack bend, right? The ability to sort of dip underneath the tackle. Well, he's got that as well. What he doesn't have necessarily is a long list of great stats from Texas Tech, potentially due to him not being used in the best scheme and whatnot. But I promise you this, NFL DCs won't mess up this natural ability. I think he's almost like a Trayvon Walker light, where maybe the stats aren't jumping off the screen, but that will translate to the NFL. That's going to do it for us on today's show. Thank you so much for watching. And hey, if you have subscribed, thank you very much. Hit that notification bell icon, by the way. That way you never miss any sort of Falcons signing or anything like that. Or send today's video to a friend to help grow the channel. That's going to do it for us. I'll see you guys later. I think we're going to talk about Mike Hughes, because I think I just saw that the Falcons brought him in for a visit. So, Atlanta looking at corners? I sure hope so.